We'll bring the Water Resources Board meeting to order for Tuesday, August 26th. Michelle, do we have any public comments on any actionable items? We do not. Before we get into our agenda, we'd like to take a moment. We have some superlatives to pass out. We just recently had what was it? We had a conference where we had
Water Professionals
Water
Conference.
Professional Conference in Kentucky.
Yes, Kentucky. Well, it was in Knoxville this year.
And it looks like we wiped everybody out.
I think we did. I think we did.
Alan, do you have the accolades that you want to?
I have two of them.
Okay.
So I have two of them. The first is the big plaque there, which this is for the Award of Excellence, and it's for water treatment plants that are 10 million gallons and above.
So is that the biggest I got?
That's the biggest, yes, sir. That's the biggest I got. And the thing about this award, so the medium award can be given every year, okay? And that's to both states, Kentucky and Tennessee. The small can be given every year to to Kentucky and Tennessee. But this award is only given to the state with which the conference is being held. And also, it can only be received every 10 years. So even though there's smaller award systems, they make sure that is a little bit more difficult to obtain.
And who's in charge of our plant operations over there?
I don't know.
Congratulations to you.
If I could, so here's some of the
Name what they do.
So Brandon Goodman here, he's a shift supervisor, and he works Wednesday through Saturday. Dean West is a shift supervisor, and he works like 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and he works till Saturday morning. And then Leanna is a master plan operator, and she works Wednesday through Saturday. And then Sam, he's a master plan operator, and he works in the afternoons from 1 to 9. But we have a lot of folks, so we couldn't obviously bring everybody here, but these folks also were on the top ops team, which I'm going to bring about. Oh, there we are. So there's a lot of folks that were there at the conference.
At the conference.
So if you look there behind Leanna is David Reisner. He's cross connection control supervisor. And then we go over here between the plaque, and that's Monty Casto. He's another shift supervisor. And the guy that you barely see his head behind Joe is Steve Toller, and Sam really didn't want to associate with him, just right down all the way over the side there. So that's for this.
Well done.
But next we have a trophy there. So the Top Ops Award. Most folks know what
There's a men's and a women's?
No, sir, it's all together. And they just not supposed to have it on there. They typed it wrong. That's incorrect. So it's all one group. But basically what Top Ops is a college ball of operations. So they get asked a question, they have to answer the question. If they get the answer correct, they get points. If they get the answer wrong, they lose points. So whoever wins this competition gets to go to ACE, which is the national conference, which will be in Washington, D.C. next year. And our team won.
Who was the captain?
That's Dean.
All right.
Stand up then. So thank y'all.
Valerie?
Yep. I got one more.
I want to add something else too. They beat the team that placed fourth in nationals last year.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
right. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's awesome. We had one more, and it is for distribution system operations. So we've got some distribution folks here, Nikki and Neil and Courtney. Adam, y'all stand up and roll. Received it as well for.
Thank you, guys. And this is all water, right?
Yes, all water.
We have the best
And
in the
here's-
nation, sounds like. I mean, really, we have the best.
And here's.
We've
the
got a lot to
picture.
be proud of.
Donald received it at the conference, and then here's all the guys with the, I guess, did somebody take that picture of all of you?
Yeah, I took it.
Okay, good, Adam.
Well done, men, women. Yeah. Well done.
Yep.
You make us all proud.
Sound like they need a raise, right?
Well, not a division above this. We
No,
reached
this
the
is the
pinnacle.
large.
Big leagues.
This is for the large system as well.
Good job.
Aaron, you really agreeing, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Take all the credit. Yeah, that's right, that's right. Took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
You need to suggest that council members get a raise.
Yeah.
But really, you're all, great job, great job.
With it being large, that is the largest, which includes, we're up against Metro Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis. So we're in the same, in Clarksville, same league as they are, size-wise.
And size-wise though, like Memphis, we have a lot less probably, right?
Yes, ma'am, we have a lot less, but we fall into that size category.
That's what
So,
I'm saying,
yes,
that's
it's a lot.
excellent.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
excellent. Excellent.
So, thank y'all for coming. You're welcome to stay for the excitement going in front of us. But if you want to leave, then you're free to leave.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. We have 7 items on our consent agenda. Does anybody have an item they want to discuss separately?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Got a motion to approve? Second. Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item are the minutes from July 22nd, 2025. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the minutes of July 22nd, 2025? If there are no additions or corrections, then we'll accept the minutes as presented. Next, item number 4 is considering the Thompson Lane widening, revised easement offers. Valerie?
Yes, so you all have seen this a couple times now, and it's back before you because we have received some counteroffers. If you'll remember, we, myself included, along with legal, asked TDOT if they would share what their easement values were. And the answer is that they wouldn't share that information. So we went off of the tax assessor's values for our offers. You know, a permanent easement is 50%, a temporary easement is usually 10%, but we did 20% for 2 years. And then we did a $1,000 minimum if it didn't, you know, equal $1,000 or more, and then 10% for voluntary conveyance. So we sent the letters out. We've received counteroffers. There's a spreadsheet in here of the offers that we've received counteroffers for. Those folks did send in what TDOT sent us TDOT information, and so we have prepared counteroffers based on TDOT values. So this is what we've received up to now. If you'll see, one of these is Swanson Development. They are the majority of the 191,000. And it's because their property is so large. If you're coming from Broad Street and you pass the gas station on the left, Swanson is the next property, and it's a large undeveloped piece of property. And so the majority of the 191,000 additional goes towards that easement. So you all previously approved 689,000, and we are asking right now for an additional 191,000 for a total of $880,644. As we get additional counter offers in, I guess each month until, you know, unless there's a month that we don't receive any counter offers, legal has kind of said, you know, we've reached our maximum, we need to come back and bring these counter offers for reapproval. So it'll come to you all as well as City Council before we, you know, grant them their counter offer. We don't think that any of, you know, using the TDOT information, we don't think any of it was out of line. Legal, you know, basically said this is what we needed to do. It will keep us, hopefully, from having to move forward with condemning the property or going through and getting appraisals and that whole process. Because TDOT's, they did move their letting from this fall up to December, which gives us a little bit more time. I will be surprised if we even make that. But as far as getting all of the easements. So we asked for the additional amount here in the amount of the counteroffers for approval.
How many more are there?
Well, we have 98 total.
Okay.
Some didn't counteroffer, and we've got those in the process. I asked George today, that's been working on these, and George, you said we might have 30 to 40.
About maybe 30 that they've agreed with the initial offer we gave them at the 90, and there's others thinking it over, so they may come back and agree later on as well. So.
Move for approval.
Second. Okay. Madeline, second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item is to consider SSR's change order, not a change order for the Headworks building recommissioning and upgrades. John, you have this?
Yes.
Okay.
So the board previously approved the task order for the recommissioning of the Headworks building. Recommissioning of this building is going to allow us to have hydraulic capacity for decades moving forward. So this amendment is a change in the design. Previously, we were going to have to use explosion-proof electrical equipment everywhere. This design is considered like an open air. We're going to remove a lot of the walls so that the building will no longer be enclosed, so the gases can freely move around, the atmosphere can freely move around, eliminating that need for the explosive equipment. And then also, this task order amendment includes connecting the force mains from the Cherry Lane corridor, the hazard area classification, and a new vac truck loadout. And so all of this should be able to complete it. There will be some future things that we may need to bring back in the future as far as connecting to the plant expansion, which all of that ball's rolling really well. But this should get us way down the field. And of course, the building itself, once commissioned, will give us hydraulic capacity for decades. And we ask for your approval on this amendment, about another $400,000.
And it saves a lot of money on the equipment, right, you were saying?
Yeah, to make it explosion-proof will cost about $2 million.
Wow. I make a motion to approve the additional $402,000 and change.
You have a question?
Yeah.
So probably easier to swallow if you put that number on there too. Savings $2 million. Spending what, 400,000. That makes it a no-brainer.
Right.
Absolutely. I agree. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the task order from SSR Amendment 1 for the sewer pump station improvements.
Yes, you all have seen this one as well before. One reason why we're bringing it back is during the preparations for our sewer allocation report, I realized that report stated that County Farm Road pump station had little to none available sewer connections remaining in it. And so I felt a need to add it to our pump station improvements project. The original task order for the design was $324,000. Adding this pump station to the improvements will add about $163,000 to the task order for a total of $488,500. What we will do with this station is increase the speed of the pumps, changing the belts and sheaves, bringing the controls, which are down. It's a can station, so you have to crawl down into the station into the dry well, which is on the right-hand side, area and the wet wells on the left-hand side. You have to crawl down in there to operate the station. So we want to bring those controls up out of the station and then add an on-site generator to the station. So we request approval for the amendment of SSR's task order to add the station to the improvement project.
No more capacity, but
Yes, it will free up capacity.
It will.
Yes, by speeding up the pumps, it will definitely. And also, I forgot to mention, this pump station was already designed with another, I believe, with another wet well adjacent to it. So it's got, it's just capped off right now, so it's got the room for additional storage. So
Okay.
yes, it will increase the capacity of the station.
okay. Yeah. We'll get our money back then.
Yes, we will, by allowing additional connections for sure.
Do we know how many connections? Or roughly?
Oh, I don't. Let's see, the station will go, Brent, do you remember it was like 1,300 gallons from 800 to, or 600 to 1,300 gallons per minute?
690 to 1,300.
Yeah, to 1,300
wow.
gallons per
Yeah,
minute.
that's it. Too much.
Yeah, that's good.
So I would say double, almost double the connections.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Valerie, you still want to do 8 and 9 and then the other business?
Yes,
Okay.
but we've got we got number 7.
7, 8, 9, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so the next item is the Middle Tennessee Electric property pump
yes.
station design proposal.
Yes, do you all, I've shown this to you as well at a previous board meeting. I think it's been 2 now. Service to the Middle Tennessee Electric property there in green. The original proposal that you all saw was from SEC Engineering, and they were going to design the gravity sewer, and the gravity sewer, which is the purple lines here, and then the force main, so gravity sewer, purple dash line is the force main, and then the pump station you see is right in here. So now we bring before you is a CIA engineering proposal for the pump station design in the amount of $148,000, which will also be paid from working capital reserves. And then we also discussed recouping our costs with a future assessment district for the area. As people connect, they will pay to recoup our costs.
Okay, good.
Move for approval.
That makes it easy. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the fiscal year 2025 stormwater annual report. Josh, you got this?
I think so. I
Okay.
don't have any awards, but I have a clean audit that I can report that we went through in July, but, oh. Can I figure out?
The bottom button, and it takes a minute to show up.
Okay, there you go. It's a bunch of words anyway, but now. So we're coming to you with our annual report. It's a requirement of our permit to make this available to the public, and so we'll submit it after this and then post it on our website. But we want to give you all the opportunity to review it first, and so I'll just go over a couple highlights. We put a lot of them in the board package. But before that, we did go through an audit of, a program-wide audit of the stormwater program in July. And last time we had one of these was in 2019. And so we were expecting, and normally the permit cycle's 5 years, and state tries to audit midway through the cycle, so we were due. And so just happened to be the week before I was going on vacation, they let us know about it, a couple weeks before that. So, but they They gave us a shared drive, and then we uploaded our policies and procedures. They reviewed those, and then they came down here and spent 2 days with us, interviewed staff for a day from planning and engineering departments, and then selected a site to visit. And they chose Fleet Services and Solid Waste to kind of make sure that their stormwater provisions were good, and they were. We did fairly well in the audit. There was one checklist that we needed to implement, and so we got that done. TDEC really didn't even need a response for that. So overall, we were pretty happy with it. We won't see another program-wide audit for 5 years. They do another audit where they select part of one sub-program that they may look at within the next 2 years, but we'll be ready for that. And then just want to offer a couple slides. We spend a lot of our effort in outreach and education. That's a permit requirement. There are a lot more events, but we had 43 events last year. We estimate that we reached over 2,000 people, and those are folks that we have hard documentation for. If Sharon were here, I would give a shout out to her. She helped us out with a lot of those events. On the left there, you see Andy Landrum. He's talking to a group of engineers and developers, and that our permit kind of requires that we provide specific education to those groups about stormwater control measures. And then Perez Brown is in the center there. He organizes our rain barrel workshops, and he's talking to a group of students. We do a lot of student outreach. And then Cynthia Allen with MTSU, way off in the distance at a public meeting we held. So in our outreach program, we want to focus. We've had requests to do more workshops to these specific audiences: property managers, landscapers, engineering and development community. So we wanted in this coming or current year, wanted to do more workshops, and then get in Garrison Creek and have folks have the opportunity to do cleanups in Garrison Creek. So, and then I was supposed to hit that earlier, so you can see how it's and then our inspection program, you can see Ashley Hopkins up there to the right. He is inspecting a installation of a permeable paver system and looking at the different layers that go into that. And then right below that, you see obviously a parking lot, a permeable paver parking lot that has not been maintained. So real quickly, we have 2 folks dedicated to the inspection of the installation of these systems, 111 jobs across the city, and then we completed 31 of those last fiscal year. But then recently, it's been about a year now, we hired a 3rd inspector, Andy, that looks at the post-construction maintenance of these. And this takes a lot of effort. You've got to research who the owner is, spend time with the operator, educate them on maintenance documents that they may or may not know that they have, and then sometimes request repairs and then follow up later. So we think this is going to be a bigger and bigger part of our time is following up with these maintenance of the controls. And so I had a slide on Town Creek, the watershed, and we've heard a lot about the restoration project, but I wanted to focus on a lot of the efforts that have been going on in the watershed, but I'll probably save that for another time.
Okay.
So I think that's all I have, yeah. So I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you, Josh. Any questions? Well done.
Where is Garrison Creek? Is that,
Yeah, it's Rutherford Boulevard, where Rutherford Boulevard and Las Casas Pike meet, the Kroger Shopping Center there.
yeah, right there in front of there?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
The big ditch, little ditch out in there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And so there's kind of varying history on that. Some folks believe that it was only created when they built Rutherford Boulevard. Maybe they hit groundwater that flowed perennially and then created the stream conditions. We have some aerial photography back from like the late 30s that shows that there was a stream around there. But either way, the state has it listed as an official stream, and so it was impaired. And so years ago, I think it was back in 2012, the first plantings happened, and then ever since then, Right now, we're at a point where we're trying to kind of keep the trash out and then manage some of the undergrowth, mainly non-for-profit groups come out and do cleanups, but we want to organize a couple this coming year.
Well, thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Next is our 2024 sanitary sewer allocation report.
Yes. I will be presenting this. I've already, since the council workshop came first, it's been presented to council, so Madeline has already gotten to hear this once. It's our 5th annual report. It is over our 2024 year. And we'll get started. As far as executive summary, we are in good shape. I'll go ahead and put all these up here real quick. Sanitary sewer system's in good shape as is. Our sewer rehab program is paying off and reclaiming new connections, the capacity to allow new connections. So those new connections are very important, especially when it comes to trying to fund the WRF plant upgrades, because those upgrades are just getting more and more expensive as construction costs rise. As far as sewer capacity reservations, we created the sewer allocation ordinance to afford developers to reserve sewer capacity. Out of the whole system, we only have 13 properties or projects that have secured capacity by putting a deposit down to reserve, which is somewhat alarming, especially in our Salem Barfield assessment area where we've just upgraded the project and we only have, and I'll kind of touch on that later, but we only have so many connections that improvement project allowed us. Planning continues to approve projects in that area. 13 properties have secured capacity. The WRF has the ability to handle the hydraulic flows with the increase in connections, given the upgrades that we're doing now for the wet weather and also the Headworks building. There are still some areas or hot spots we have where we have sewer connections are being restricted to minimize density, in hopes that the properties that are not developed in those areas can continue to develop and not one person is just taking up all the capacity with high density. And then one of those is a large service area east of Memorial Boulevard between Compton Road and DeJohnette Lane. We are asking that planning only allow up to 4 single-family units per acre until additional capacity can be achieved. You've heard that SSR is still continuing to study, and we're working with them on the VA pump station there at the Publix there at Thompson Lane and Memorial. This next slide shows us how our sewer rehab dollars in the green line here, as we've spent sewer rehab close to $30 million now. You can see our infiltration and inflow, how it has decreased over time, even though we are increasing in our connections each year, our sewer connections. And just to remind you on I&I is infiltration and inflow into the sewer system. Infiltration is more groundwater seeping into the pipes, and then inflow is say, our sewer mains are at the creeks. Inflow is where we might have a manhole casting or something off, and the creek waters rise and go into the system really quickly from one single point. I'll review a little bit of the basics, and you'll notice that you've seen this over and over again, but it's good to repeat it just as a refresher. So I didn't change too much of Darren's previous presentations, a little bit here and there. Inside the fence is our wharf, and called the Bucket, and our pump stations, one that you just, or several that you've approved to upgrade, and then we've got our pipes and manholes, which are flows into the Bucket. You can see this is a separate, we have a separate sanitary sewer system, whereas Nashville and some of the larger cities have a combined system where stormwater and sanitary sewer are both combined. But ours is separate, and you can see outside the fence the homes and how the stormwater goes ahead and goes to the river, and then our sanitary sewer will flow into the wastewater treatment plant. Our plant was, it's very expensive to expand. We expanded in the last time in 2017, which was 40+ million. Our next expansion, I believe this will be a minimum of 65 million plus, if approved by TDEC, and we are still working with Hayes and Sawyer on that. And may come back next month with kind of an update where we are in that process. I'll go ahead and go through here. This will give you kind of a snapshot of how our wet weather compares to our dry weather. Over the last several years, you can see the red line is our wet weather flows from, say, December to into March, and then dry weather flows summer months, April to September, and there's a delta here. You can see that this delta is being reduced over time. Up to last year was a peaking kind of a difference of 2 times, and this year was approximately 1.6 times, or 387 gallons per day per new connection. We have approximately 80,000, a little over 80,000 current sanitary sewer connections. 54,000 or 67% of those are residential, and 33% are apartment connections. You can see this graph will show you the effects of how the rain affects our flows at the wharf. The blue line is our winter. On the bottom axis is, rain is on the bottom axis, and our wet weather, our wharf flows are on the y-axis, and you can see how the more rain we get, the more our flows go up. And you can see that there's definitely a difference between winter and summer months, between the red and the blue. It just kind of gives you a different perspective. We'll review as is versus to be condition. There's not too many to be conditions because we are working on, currently some of those improvements, and not many more improvements are on the horizon other than the expansion. Our as-is must go through 3 pump stations. Our main pump station is at the wharf, and it's up here in the right hand. Then there's Overall Creek out in the system, as well as Southwest Regional Pump Station. This is just a schematic of the 3 pump stations up top, and these are our flow basins. And they relate to our flow monitors, sewer flow monitors that are permanent in the system. And then you've got a couple of other pump stations that are integral, Thompson Lane, you've got a couple here on DeJarnett Lane, and then one is the County Farm Road pump station, which we just approved to upgrade and to combine it with the other pump station improvements. This kind of gives you a snapshot of how many connections remain in the as-is model. And I'll point out, total as-is available sewer connections is around 95,000. Total approved sewer connections, this should not be in here. I don't believe it is since 2017, because as we have as they have connected to the system, we have taken them out of the count. They are, should be in this 95,000. You can see we're all kind of in the green. This is in the green is the number of connections we feel like are available at each monitor, and you can see here at our County Farm Road pump station that we were very few connections left. This MF14 is the Buchanan and Elam Assessment District area, and then 12A serves Joby Jackson Parkway area. So hence the need to bring approval to add that to the pump station project. This is kind of an overall snapshot of as-is connections. And then you can see again here, it's just another view of the system on a map and how we're doing.
What are the total connections available?
Total connections available,
87,000?
total remain, yes,
Okay.
as is. The 2B model with improvements. So we have our 3 main pump stations, but then in the future we will have 3 pump stations along Cherry Lane, and each of those 3 will also pump to the WRF directly. So we will have a total of 6 pump stations that will go directly to the WRF. And those are shown here, the Cherry Lane pump stations, and we've kind of just named this as a future flow monitor area of MFO 8B. And right now in our dashboard, we've got, I believe that's correct, 33.3 million slated for the Cherry Lane improvements, which includes gravity sewer, pump station, force main, and repurified water. Current WRF improvements are right at 16.4 million. We're doing the wet weather improvements. This does not, well, let's see, I think that is slated for the headworks and wet weather. That does not include the biosolids dryer. And County Farm Road, here's our County Farm Road improvement. And then total in upgrades were 62.8. 12.8 was spent. That was with the overall creek improvements that are just about complete. I think the contractor has one minor thing to do. Can't remember what that was, Matt, at the station. I think it's controls related. So we have about 50 million in future expense left with these improvements shown. Oh, yeah, there was the 12.8 up there at Overall Creek. Our 2B model with the improvements that were just shown on the previous slide brings us to available sewer connections with the upgrades of 105,000. It does give us some more connections, but not as shown here for the Joby Jackson Parkway and Buchanan and Elam area. Still keeps us in the red, so we're going to have to be particular on approvals there. And the 2B adds a little over 11,000 connections.
So what do we think our plan would be for Joby Jackson and County Farm Road or whatever?
Well, I'm not so sure that was an accurate count on the number of that. Now that's connections too. That, you know, that doesn't. That's a lot of connections. Let me go back to that. It's not single family units. It's connections. So, you know, we're no longer allowing just anyone in the county to connect. It's got to be an economically beneficial project for the city and the county for us to approve sewer. And so Joby Jackson area, remember that's, that doesn't have, that area other than the western side of I-24 where Buc-ee's is planned, there's not a whole lot of area left on the eastern side of I-24 to continue to develop in that area. All we have left really is the western side of I-24 that has not developed out.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's
which
helpful.
would kind of take our Butler Drive Sanitary Sewer Assessment District, where we just did a force main along the new realigned Butler Drive. That's the area that I'm kind of speaking of.
All right, any questions for Valerie?
I have more. I'm sorry. I can speed through those. I can speed through them real fast.
I couldn't tell.
So this just kind of gives you another graphic on the added to-be connections. That we've got 11,000 more connections approved this past year. You know, with the improvements that we have planned, that'll bring those connections to about $4,521 per connection. You can see how our non-apartment connections and the apartment connections are in orange, how they compare. Non-apartments and apartments approved there. We're definitely not approving as many, well, it looks like this year we've approved, for 2024, have approved a few more apartments than previous year, and non-apartments as well in 2024 compared to 2023. Total approved sewer connections, you've seen that there was 7,666 approved sewer connections. Most of those are on the west side of I-24 area. 59% of that is on the west side of I-24. Just takeaways, Cherry Lane will entail 3 new sewer pump stations. Wet weather capacity upgrades are still, obviously necessary. These upgrades at the WRF, these upgrades were bid in the 3rd quarter and are anticipated to be completed in May of 2026. Again, that does not include the biosolids dryer project. County Farm Road Pump Station is slated for upgrades, which we just approved. Staff is continuing to work with TDEC to expand the WRF permit limits. Sewer capacity hotspots. Those are Memorial Boulevard, as I mentioned, East Main Street, east of Middle Tennessee Boulevard, kind of out John Bragg Highway. Cason Lane northeast at the end of the highway, north end of Highway 96, and then South Church Street around the Joby Jackson Parkway area. And then I'll kind of show you the hot spots. This is Memorial Boulevard area. That is one of the hot spots. It's highlighted there or circled in red. And this is just in the appendices. It's a recap of how many connections are in each basin. This hotspot is the Cason Lane area at the north end of Cason Lane, just below 96, Highway 96. Oh, there's one more. This shows the Shelbyville Highway hotspot area, just at Joby Jackson Parkway. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So with TDEC, you plan on giving us an update, you say next month? All right. We won't steal your thunder.
John will help us with that one.
Okay.
So, okay. We mentioned doing other business before.
All right, you ready to do other business?
Dash
Okay, is that in
one.
front of us? Is that in front of us?
Yes, it is in front of you. We have three other business things, not necessarily for a vote. This first one you have in front of you is the Salem Barfield sewer upgrades. It's a final balancing change order requesting approval. It's a deductive change order in the amount of $490,652. The contractor is finished. He finished back in September, but had to go through and do some punch list items. One of those was under the river. The ductile iron pipe underneath the river was in good shape, but there's a coating on the inside of the pipe that was coming off, and they had to repair that. So they've had some punch list items that they've been working through, and so we're ready to close the project out. The change order form is subject to legal and purchasing approval, but again, we request approval for the deductive final change order.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Any other discussion? This is clearly construction, have we used them before?
Cleary, this is, I think, our first time using Cleary on the Salem Bar. Oh, Overall Creek, that's right, Overall Creek Force Main. Totally forgot about that.
Any other discussion?
So, is this how all the sessions are gonna work? You're gonna ask for it, then you're gonna give us back for it?
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'll try.
Let that go, that's one good idea, Warren. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. The dashboard, anything to be brought to our attention on the dashboard?
Well, we can do the dashboard. I had a couple of other
Oh,
business
yeah, what'd you
items.
have? I'm sorry.
John was gonna show you something, some construction at the wharf.
Yeah, I thought this might be of interest. You know, there's a lot of construction going on out at the wharf. But in this case, they had to relocate a 24-inch reuse line and cut the reuse water system off entirely. So we had to notify all of our customers, manage that whole thing, while these guys worked around the clock to relocate that 24-inch line. And that's a big deal for coordination and service completely turned off. That's never happened before with the reuse system. The closest we've had to that, and Darren was there for the last one when we reconnected the force main. The interesting part about that other one was when Darren, we would turn on the pumps, remember they sounded like they were pumping turtles? That sounded normal.
Well, we had
So-
an issue where the line split in the hospital parking lot, and it was 18 feet deep.
How long was the water off?
So it was off for over a day,
Wow.
which is a long time for everyone to be without service considering all of our customers. But it could have been out for longer, even as planned, but they did it very swiftly and it could have, you know, this is a very high risk situation. So if something went wrong, it could have been out for a while, which would have been very detrimental.
Another example of excellent.
Yeah, this
Excellent
one
water
went off
department.
smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a really big, highly complex coordinated project.
What,
Yeah,
how much, you know, where my office is, we use reuse for the bathrooms.
Mhm.
How popular is that?
Right now, as far as I know, I think the Gateway Village is the only other one.
Well, that's where I am.
Yeah,
That whole-
you're it.
Yeah?
Yeah, the
You're in it.
condominiums and offices, yes.
Okay, so it wasn't a huge,
No.
We thought it would take off, but it didn't. This is, the contractor is Reeves Young for this project, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, Reeves Young.
that looks involved.
Mhm. Yeah, so a lot of big interesting things going on out there.
All right, and then the last thing, I wanted to update you all on the Percy Priest. We've been requested to participate. We've been requested to participate in another water reallocation study. CUD. Consolidated Utility District, I think Roger approached Darren.
Yes.
And asked us to partner with Consolidated Utility District in Smyrna on a reallocation study. And since that time, Laverne has decided to join the team. I guess, so I wanted to bring it to you all and let you know that we've been
Is this all
requested.
against the Corps?
Yeah, well, it's not, I don't know that I would use against. I don't know that I would use against the Corps.
But we have to negotiate with the Corps?
Yes, we have to negotiate with the Corps. We are not necessarily on the negotiation side because as far as MWRD, we have enough water for MWRD. customers. However, not all of Murfreesboro's customers are not our customers. They're also Consolidated Utility District customers. So, you know, I put up here why participate, and some of the things, some of the points is we kind of want to be in the game. You know, we want to make sure that the reallocation, once it's decided that it's, you know, it's fair regarding growth, you know, each person's growth and population projections. You know, make sure the allocation to CUD is appropriate for Murfreesboro's customers. To show the core that we have a united front. We can watch what water goes where. You know, I think Smyrna at one point was, got water and they were kind of letting selling water to Nolensville. You know, they have since said that they're going to quit that, you know, that they're no longer going to do that. And right now, even us, we are selling water to Marshall County, but that hopefully will be coming to an end, and I will update you all at next month's meeting to see how they're coming on their design and construction. Well, you know, we understand that there isn't a clear-cut benefit because we do have the water that we need. You know, this is Darren's point. Trust the system, but it gives us opportunity to verify. Is it being fair? And so next month, we would pair up with CUD if approved, Smyrna, Laverne. And I understand, I took these percentages out of the letter that Jones Fortuna sent to us as a participation agreement. And that adds up to more than 100%. So I put it up there, but I thought, wait a minute. So we will have to be talking with them that we need them to add correctly. So our participation may reduce a little bit. I'm not certain on that. I've also, Darren and I had a conversation with John Fortuna of Jones Fortuna. And ask them to kind of bring back an estimate of what this looks like, you know, their costs. Jones Fortuna would represent all of us in going to the Corps to try and initiate the study. So there will be costs for Jones Fortuna, but then there would also, we may be asked to partner in the costs of the study. I'm not certain on that yet. It just depends on, I think from what I've been told, whether Congress has money for it or not. So I would bring back that to you next month on what their estimated costs would be and what our percentage of those costs would be. But I wanted to go ahead and update you. And Darren?
Yeah, if I just add the benefit, the bucket that we have in the lake is large enough to feed our 20 million gallon a day water plant. So if you want to think of it as the plant has the supply it needs to meet its capacity, design capacity. CUD needs more a larger bucket because of the growth in the county, plus all the growth in Murfreesboro. You know every bit of growth that's occurring in Murfreesboro is basically a CUD water customer, except for maybe what infills in our service area. I would say a clear-cut benefit, though, would be if they don't get the water for new Murfreesboro customers, we don't, the water department, Murfreesboro Water Resources doesn't get the sewer customers. So there is a CUD, as our, you need water to have sewer. So that's where I would kind of say there's some interest in us making sure that CUD gets what they need so that Murfreesboro can continue to grow and your sewer system can continue to expand. There's a little bit of a linkage there. Now, at the end of the day, I don't think Murfreesboro Water Resources is going to have to put any money to buy any more allocation because we're going to have all the allocation we need. CUD, if the study comes back and says they need a bigger allocation, they need to pay for that. I don't see that there would be a cost share on that part. But for 20%, if it's 15 or 20%, wherever it shakes out, I think it's a really good, it's a good practice to be in on the study part, to make sure that nobody's making a grab for sewer to send it out of basin, which is what Smyrna was doing. And I was expecting the Corps to kind of call them out on it back, 10 years ago, and they didn't, which I was kind of surprised at. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I just would recommend we definitely approach the Corps as a watershed if possible.
How often do we do this?
That was my question. When was the last time?
Oh yeah, well we got the last one done in 2019, 2018.
They gave us credit for return flows, I thought, in 2018.
2018 for credit for that. So the big deal when we got the state law changed, so that they were really hosing us, remember, on what we could put back. They were only giving us like 4 or 8% of what we were putting back in the river. Got the state law changed, got 100% of the return flow credit. Game changer. It means everybody's bucket shrunk because they were giving us the credit for those return flows. I don't think it should have to happen every 10 or 15 years, but based on our growth, I think it's just, we're having to do that because of such accelerated growth in our basin in the county. When you look at some of the numbers, it's crazy how fast, we're growing. I mean, so still, this is the good news. And I try to remind everybody of this. All of our water allocation thus far has been based on the winter pool storage area, which is only 32,000 acre feet. So they come in and said, we're not going to give you any more water but what's in the winter pool. Well, we're kind of capped at that now. The summer pool is 124,000 acre feet. It's what, 4 or 5 times that. But they say, oh no, we can't give you any of that water in the summer. Well, they're going to have to get into that summer pool condition to satisfy the allocation or the supply requirements that we're going to ask for at this point, or CUD is going to be asking for. So I always remind people, we don't have a water shortage, a physical water shortage problem. We got more water than we could ever use out there. We've got a contractual deal where the Corps is kind of being some knuckleheads, just saying, oh, we can't give you what's over the winter pool condition. We've never had a winter drought, ever. We'll never have a winter drought. And we always, I think 2012 and 2017 were maybe the only 2 years that we didn't get summer pools since I can remember in, say, the last 20 plus years. So this is really an exercise. I hate to say it. It's just, it's a contractual exercise we go through with the Corps so that we say we've got enough storage when there's a drought condition. And the drought condition is not really a drought. The drought condition is when we don't make it to summer pool. I know that's a lot of whatever, but we don't have a physical constraint on our water supply in that lake. We've got more than enough water to supply this community for 100 years.
Do we have a right to do a study anytime we want to, or does the Corps have to?
No, this is being prompted by CUD's request. This is not a Corps prompted request. So that's where it gets into, if CUD wants this and needs this, and the Corps says, hey, we'll do it, but you're going to have to sponsor it or you're going to have to pay for it. There may be a situation where CUD pays for the majority of the sponsorship money for the study. I think what we're talking about is paying a joint council to make sure that they are keeping everything, making sure that everything is being fairly mitigated between the entities that are involved. That makes
Once
more
the
sense.
study gets done, that's what the council does then, and it takes that or what?
They're going to kind of lead us through it, right?
They're going to take us through it. They're going to have the engineering under them as an umbrella for attorney-client privilege, so that it'll be protected work product where they go through all the projections and all the Monte Carlo scenarios that you want to go through, and so they'll have that protected. They'll kind of let the the entities know, hey, this is how it's shaking out on the projections. We all agree to the projections. We all agree this is the water allocation requirements for each entity. Then you submit that to the Corps. Then they need those projections to start their study. Now, the study, when they come back and say it's going to be $2 or $3 million to do the study, that's when you kind of go, water resources really doesn't need, we know our bucket's not going to need to get bigger. So we pay for the projections and pay for the initial work, but if the Corps is going to charge $3 million to do their study, maybe we don't pay much at all. Or we pay what, I use this example, we were talking to Fortuna. Let's say CUD needs a 50% larger bucket than they have now. But 20% of that 50% is for Murfreesboro, right? So then maybe we pay that pro rata share for what's beneficial to Murfreesboro's growth. I just think there's another algorithm or another way to go about it when we get to that point. I think right now, getting the projections and getting the water consumption data together and getting the Hazen-Sawyer's model put together, I think this is a fair split. If it goes to a bigger number, we probably need to talk about what's the actual benefit to Murfreesboro.
And in the past, has it gone to the bigger study?
Well, yeah, we pushed it. Actually, the last time it happened, remember, was Smyrna. Smyrna was in a lawsuit with the Corps, and part of the settlement with Smyrna was and that happened in 2009.
Yes.
The settlement happened in 2009, and it took them not 10 years. It took us 10 years to go through the study.
Good gracious.
I know. This stuff is.
Will it be outdated?
Well, the Corps has a new model. They're supposed to do a 3 by 3 by 3 deal now, where the study doesn't go over 3 million. It doesn't take over 3 years. And I can't remember what the other 3 is, but the Corps, with our National Water Supply Alliance, that thing that we've been involved with nationally, the Corps really has tried to get better in dealing with these studies and how they go about dealing with the local jurisdictions and getting them the water that they need. So 3 years is what they've committed to.
So is the study, they have to look at the whole
Yes.
in order to figure out how
Yes.
we.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why
I think we need to be in and looking at the projections and agree with CUDs and agree with the projections that Murfreesboro's growth, and look at Smyrna and Laverne and look at the whole watershed and all kind of give the nod to, hey, yeah, this is reasonable. And then if the big number comes in, then maybe we can, I think CUD's probably going to be on the hook for most of that.
All right. Anything else, Val? Nothing else?
No, that dashboard.
Any other business?
There's no financials, we're closing up the books for the year today, so, for the state and then to give to the auditor. And we did get our last $248,000 from TDEC, so our $10.1 billion ARP grant has been totally completed, all the money's in.
Well done.
Hey,
Good thing. Yep.
that's awesome.
Well done. All right, anything else to be brought before the board? If there is nothing, we will adjourn. Thank y'all.